Hello, everyone. Welcome to Wind Down Friday. Today, our guest is Robert Taylor, General Manager at Texas Instruments, responsible for industrial power design services. Hi, Robert. Welcome aboard. How's it going?
Hi, Ruzio. Very happy to be here today. Thank you for having me.
Thanks a lot for your time. Where are you located, Robert?
I'm in Dallas, Texas, at our corporate headquarters for Texas Instruments.
Good, nice. So, Robert, let's start talking about you. So, tell us more about you, your background. So, you have so please correct me, more than 20 years at experience at Texas TI, Texas Instruments, and also an impressive portfolio of 15,000 power supply designs, I guess. So, tell me more. What has been the most important, the most rewarding project or design challenges that you have encountered during this period?
Yeah, happy to do that. Yeah, 22 years now at TI. It's crazy. It does not seem like it's been that long, but time flies when you are having fun, they say. So, designing power supplies is always interesting. And one of the things that I think, power is an afterthought to most engineers, to most companies, right? So by the time it comes to the power supply, there's no space left on the board. The cost is already too much. The power budget is used up. So, I like to say we need a 100% efficient power supply for $0, and it can take up no space. So this leads to some fun challenges, and my group has been doing it for over 24 years now. And amazingly, we still have not designed every power supply there is to design. So that's one piece of it. Given all of that, for me, the most rewarding part comes in two different parts. So the unique challenges, always changing customers, new things that are happening. It always keeps us on our toes, and it's fun. The second part is seeing the actual designs in the real world. So walking into a store, seeing a speaker or a TV, a laptop that has your power supply, your products inside. It's always really cool, right? Like, especially a lot of people have a misnomer outside of the industry about Texas Instruments. They say, oh, you guys make the calculators. But then you can point to so many other things that have TI products inside, and especially if you help to design one of those, it's really neat, really rewarding.
So, Robert, the market about power supply, so the power supply market is evolving even more. So it's dynamic, this market, with different advancements in terms of efficiency, space, as you said, so sites, integration, power density. So what trends are you currently most excited about?
Yeah, that's a great question. So, a lot of my team's focus these days is on data centers and the boom that's happening there right now, giving AI, the amount of data that we're generating and storing on a daily basis, right? Like if you look at YouTube or medical images, like all of these types of things, taking huge amounts of data, taking huge amounts of storage. Right now, data centers consume around 2% of the global electricity production, which, if you think about that, is just kind of mind blowing. And by 2030, this number is expected to grow to 10%. So the global consumption of energy in data centers is going to exceed the amount of energy generation that's being added to the grid. So this is going to pose some pretty significant problems. In addition, we see, within the data center itself, powers for a single rack going up to 150 kilowatts or more. There's even a future goal to have a single power supply rack with 1 megawatt of power. This just seems totally crazy to me. So, my team's working on innovative approaches to help figure out how to handle this, whether it's with GAN, real-time control with our C2000 products. All of those things we are working towards in order to enable these different power levels. And then one more trend that seems to be gaining popularity right now is a concept of DC powered data centers and factories. So instead of busing AC power around the data center or factory, we would use DC, and this pairs very well with alternative energy generation, whether it's solar, wind power. these types of things in energy storage systems.
Mhm.
So it's a good opportunity to increase the overall energy efficiency by removing some conversion stages.
Good. So let's talk about a little bit of you. So you
Sure.
have you hold, sorry, so bachelor and master degree from University of Florida. So how was your time during this period? How did your time there shape your career? So what advice, suggestion would you give to aspiring engineers looking to trying, so at least to make an impact in power supply design?
Yeah, it's interesting. So designing power supply is never something that I dreamed of, never something I thought I would be doing. In school, I studied analog and
Mhm.
always gravitated towards that. But when I started at TI, I didn't even know what a linear regulator was. I didn't know what a buck converter was. And I had great mentors here that helped me to build my technical knowledge and get to where I am. I do stay very involved with the university and recruiting at different universities as well. So one of the things I see today are many students going towards either digital applications, software, computer engineering, and not as many, studying analog circuits or analog engineering. And in my opinion, analog is much more difficult than digital.
Mm.
So if you are passionate about analog and we find good people in analog, they can definitely have a chance to make a big impact, not only in power supply design, but other areas as well. So I feel
Mhm.
like analog is kind of the place to be.
Mhm. So, Robert, power supply design also would involve, so often involves collaboration with other engineering subjects. So, can you share an example of a cross-subject project that taught you something new, or so expanded, improved your approach to design?
Yeah, that's a great point too. So typically when we think of power supply design, we mostly focus on the electrical piece of it,
Mm.
but there's magnetic design, there's thermal engineering, there's packaging, and then there's even other areas of electrical design that we don't think about. So sensing, isolation, communications, all of these kind of come together in the power supply design system. And again, you got to remember a lot of companies don't have dedicated power supply designers. A lot of companies don't have budget. They don't have people specific to work on these things. So
Mm.
as a power supply designer, you got to have a varied background and you got to be able to take lots of different pieces, put them together. And you got to be able to know a lot of different people that are able to be experts in these areas. So at Texas Instruments, we kind of have a unique position because we're able to come up with all the pieces for these types of solutions in our portfolio. And it's also good because we have a lot of experts in these various different areas. So, it's kind of lucky you don't have to know everything to be successful. You just got to know someone that knows everything.
So, Robert, you are a designer, okay, but outside of work, so beyond your job. So, I want to know more about you. So, let's talk about which are your hobbies, how you stay in
Oh,
relax after your job. What do you like? Next, so project for the next weekend, for example. So now is Christmas is coming, for example.
yeah,
More.
yeah. That's a perfect segue. So, I mean, as you can see from my office and my attire, a huge fan of the Florida Gators, of the Gator Nation. So, a big part of my family. My wife is alumnus there. I serve on the Alumni Association Board of Directors, so it's great to stay engaged with the university. We travel there multiple times a year to go to sporting events, football games, softball, basketball, all different types of things. Also, my both of my daughters, I have two daughters. One is 7, one is 11, and they're very active playing softball. So softball is a
Nice.
version of baseball for
Yes.
girls, and so they're very competitive, and we travel for their teams. So my older daughter, our team will travel to 3 tournaments out of the state in the spring, and they spend on average 10 hours per week or so training for softball. So I help to coach the team and do lots of stuff with that. When we're not busy on softball
Nice.
field, we do like to travel and I like to cook. So My daughters help me to cook, and we like to go to restaurants as well. So both of my kids have been to multiple times to Michelin star restaurants, which is pretty unique for a 7 and 11-year-old. And they've also been to around 20 countries outside of the U.S., which for their age is also pretty not usual, I would say.
Yes. Have you ever been in Italy?
Yes, yeah, we went to Italy in I think it was 2019, right before COVID.
Okay.
We spent 2 weeks there. Was amazing. Love the food.
Yeah. So, Robert, good, great. So, my last one in conclusion. So, just what key message you would give to our audience? So, in particular, my last question will be just back in terms of technology, in terms of power supply, in terms of power electronics in general. What emerging technologies or concepts or early stage technology? So, do you believe will be important, will define the future of power electronics?
Yeah, the big problem, again, is with energy generation and how much energy things are starting to consume. So anytime we can improve efficiency is going to be the biggest focus. So technologies like GAN, different control methods that are enabled by real-time control, by digital control, also are huge. Anything to improve the efficiency. And then it's also going to be, thinking differently about infrastructure. How can we make larger improvements in power generation, storage, distribution, whether it's alternative energy generation or just thinking about it differently so that we can improve the way that electricity is distributed is going to be huge in the future. And then talking specifically on the designs themselves, so moving to higher frequencies leads to smaller power supplies. And so this is through process improvements, through different materials like gallium nitride. All of these things kind of coming together with the ultimate goal of making things more efficient and wasting less energy is really where I see things going.
Good. Looking forward to the next future. Thanks a lot, Robert. Thank you. It's been a pleasure talking with you. Take care. Have a good weekend and talk soon. Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you so much. Happy to be here.